So I saw a couple of people make videos on the new WCA regulations, which came out on January 1st. I will admit I'm very late to this, but whatever, I don't care. Anyway, here is my dumb opinion on the new regulations. I'm just going to be going over the more important ones, because frankly I don't know what they mean by some of the less important ones, because they're very cryptid and it only goes to GitHub files, and I don't want to go looking into the code for that. So, here are there is 5 of them, and I'm going to try and make this as quick as possible. The first one is probably not the old, yeah, probably the oldest one, which is defining frame-by-frame analysis, or at least oldest discussed, which came from Yihang Wang's 2x2 record, in which he did sliding, which at the time was, I don't think it was illegal, but now it is, because of how much of an advantage it gave for those fast solved puzzles like 2x2. And at the time, you couldn't frame by frame now analyze it, which is where you really slow down the video to see if his hands were actually sliding towards the puzzle or if he lifted his hands off of the puzzle. And so they introduced that back in now, but at the same time, they didn't get rid of Yihang's record, which I find that to be dumb, where he didn't get rid of it because it was obviously sliding, even after looking over the footage. Because he beat the previous record holder by like a huge amount, and if he hadn't slid, he probably would have gotten like 1 second average, which is a lot slower than the 0.7 second average. So it's nice that they added that back in, but they probably should have taken away Yihang's record. The next one I see here is a defined process for handling misscrambles, and what I believe that is that when E1s happen for misscrambling, so like let's say someone misscrambled a puzzle and sent it over, and someone accidentally solved it, there's a new process for which they handle those. Wow, I just described the sentence by saying the sentence. Anyway, again, I find that as an improvement, because they're letting they're letting more people doing scrambling nowadays, because a lot of the time, they have more runners than there are scramblers, and so that introduces more chance for misscrambling, especially if they get someone who's not very good at scrambling. So I find that as another another good one. Allow logos for 3x3 blindfolded. So this is for when you have 3x3 blindfolded. You weren't allowed to have a logo because you could feel the logo, and you could figure out which side, how the cube was rotated, depending on the center cap logo. Everyone found that to be a fairly dumb rule, so it was kind of obvious why they took it out. Because the vast majority of the cubes had logos. It was like a very big minority, unless if you took off your logo, to not have a logo. So it's not like it gave you a specific advantage compared to like when they were bringing in stickerless cubes, in which the vast majority of people had stickered cubes because of Rubik's brand cubes and whatnot. So it's kind of dumb that they had it in the first place, because number one, the vast majority of cubes had stickers, so it's like, why would you do that? And number two, it was kind of hard to feel most of the stickers, even if you tried. Because most of the cube stickers, nowadays at least, are not taped on, they're printed on, because it saves a lot of money. And because it's just a nicer feel on the cube. And so if it was, I lost my train of thought. And so it was harder to remove them, which means that majority of the higher end cubes you couldn't really use. Uh, so that's a big W. I like that. Although I don't know why they didn't change it for 4x4 blind and 5 blind. I don't know if they changed it for uh, 3x3 multi though. I'm gonna assume they did because if they changed it, but at the same time, yeah, I don't know. So I like that. Increasing leniency for for grading fewest moves or for 3x3. Um, I believe if you make a mismove, it'll just like the delegates are allowed to add a move. I don't know how I feel about that one. I don't really like it. I feel like it should be as strict as possible because you're given an hour to do so, to do the fewest moves. So it's like, why would you need the leniency? So I don't know. I don't really like that one. And then allow championships to restrict advancements to competitors from the relevant regions. I do not know what that means at all. Let me see. Oh, okay, I see it. So, what it says here is that some local, if you have some people who are basically guaranteed a spot in a podium, so they're like just that good, they do guarantee a spot in the podium for them. Or not in the podium, in the next round. I don't like that at all, because it's like, why? Because if they do very much mess up, then they shouldn't be allowed a spot in the next round. So I don't like that one at all. And then I'm going to go over two of the minor ones. One of them caught my eye, and the other one is clock, and my channel's a clock channel, so I'm going to talk about the clock one. The first one is that caught my eye was that they now allow you to have the screen facing you in when you're solving, because again, it doesn't really give you that much of an advantage. I don't really know how I feel about this one. I don't really like it because a lot of people don't film resolves, so it does give you an advantage. It's not like something where it's not like how I was talking about the logos, how basically everyone has a logo on their cube. You know, it doesn't really give that much of an advantage. But not very many people. It seems like a lot of people, but not very many people film resolves. So why would you add that? So I'd say I don't really like that one. And then this one I didn't even know happened, to be honest. But this one's the clock one, which is that you don't have to put the clock in, like you don't have to reveal the clock with the cover on it, and you don't have to have it to be standing up. That was really badly explained. Basically, when you have the clock placed down with the cover on top of it, the clock doesn't have to be standing up. It could be laid flat, which I feel like is just an extension, which is probably why it's a minor change, but it's just an extension on the you can move the pins in inspection rule. So I like that because I like that rule. Uh, yeah. So, and I guess it does also let it have less chance of it falling over and less chance of people getting in a kerfuffle about that, whether they should get a new scramble or something. So I like that. And I'm going to do one quick look over everything just to make sure there's nothing else. Yeah, nothing else really catches my eye here, so I'm not going to talk about it because I don't really care to talk about it. Yeah, so that's my dumb opinion on the 2025 regulations. Have a nice day.